not read like a later fiction writer. This is material that's very contemporary at the time, right? But then, in the late 90s, thanks be to God, they found a stele, a monument inscription, S-T-E-L-E, pronounced different ways. Some people say Stella, some people say stele, anyway. But this inscribed, this monumental inscription, up in Dan, which is far north of Israel, it's called the Tel inscription. And it's an inscription from an Aramean or Assyrian king, Hazael, and he's bragging about how he conquered a bunch of Israelite and Judean kings, and he refers to the kingdom of Judah as the house of David. And so it was the first time when David's name was recognized on an archaeologically recovered inscription, and it just sent shockwaves through the entire biblical world, you know, the house of David. And of course, the minimalists were backpedaling and trying to reinterpret and say that, well, it doesn't really say that, but they didn't win the day. And most people were like, no, it says house of David, guys, you know, that's what's doing. And that was how the kingdom of Judah was being referred, because these ancient kingdoms were typically called the house of, and then the founder of the dynasty that was really good. So that's very significant. The house of David, about a century to a century and a half after the time of David. And then a few years later, they found a major tax collection center called Tel Zion, which was west of Jerusalem, where the government collected
I believe you're targeting the battlefield there.
other agricultural products from the farmers as taxes to the government. And this tax collection center dates to the time of David. So we've got like an administrative infrastructure going on here, and we're collecting taxes. That suggests something of a considerable like state, bureaucracy and stuff going on in the period of David. And then they went back and re-looked at a famous inscription called the Moabite stone, or sometimes called the Mesha stone, which is written about the middle of the 800s by a certain King Mesha of Moab, who's mentioned in 1 Kings chapter 3. And he writes about how he has thrown off the yoke of King Omri of Israel, and actually he claims that But anyway, so that is fake news, propaganda, and it's very common nature. And there too, ancient society found David's name as well. Extra biblical, archaeological recovered. That was pretty significant. That kind of reset the discussion in terms of the central
This clip was sponsored by Hallow, and I have to say it's very easy to follow these guys because their app is probably the best app I've ever used. Not just Catholic ones, but just all apps ever. If you want to grow in your prayer life, if you want to learn how to meditate, if you want to listen to excellent Catholic audiobooks, you can't go past Hallow. Go to hallow.com. Sign up over there and you'll get access to the entire app.
Finger of Ruin.
For 3 whole months.
It's gonna be good.
What you could do is, here's the answer. Nothing. Alright, I want to say thank you to Emmaus Academy. They've put out this brand new digital platform to help you grow in your love of sacred scripture. Because if you're like me, you know how tempting it is to waste so much of your day on YouTube, like maybe you'd have been before. I've been on this platform /Matt, and so at that time, cancel it, you won't be charged a cent, but I think you'll be really impressed with what you see.
Huh. That makes me think.
Cantera. That's the one you needed.
People who have virtue and kindness and other great talents just came by these things naturally. They had to work at them very hard, very hard, very hard.
God damn it.
Finish this baby. And so he's doing that. So I drew it, and then he looked it over and added some stuff. Now that she's on the other foot, so he's drafting the New Testament volume. I'll look it over when he's done and add a little tweaks. And,
just like,
get that through the
I don't understand.
Process with Ignatius Press. So,
had you ever considered writing a book on the incidental proofs or verifications of
that has been done.
Oh.
Yeah, there's stuff like that out
there. Something like that.
Yes. Yeah, it's what's been called unintentional consequences or something like that. I just read that actually. Yeah, I just read that interesting character. The husband. Really innocent G-R-E-W. Says using basics of Catholic
brilliant
through his
kill.
life.
Valhalla will be in bed.
Now they just keep reprinting it, but you can get a cheap copy. Probably you can kind of get a used copy for $3 off Amazon, I would imagine. And Bruce goes through and he lines up the statistics on the manuscripts. So, working just on my working memory, there's something like 5,000 Greek manuscripts of the New Testament, ranging from the 200s AD all the way into the later medieval period, as opposed to say something like Julius Caesar's Gallic War. There's like maybe 10 manuscripts of that. And then, things like Plato's Republic, you're talking about maybe a dozen manuscripts and so on. So, but Bruce lays out all those comparisons. And so it's usually, tens of copies or less than tens, like in single digits for a lot of classical documents versus like 5,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you find that book by chance?
Yeah, I got it. Oh, Hidden in Plain View, Undesigned Coincidences in the Gospel and Acts.
That's right. Undesigned
It's in the
Coincidences.
description.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
That's a great book.
C.S. Medor says, "Hi, Dr. John. I'm sure you've been asked this till your ears bleed, but I haven't heard your answer yet, so I'll ask. What is your impression of Jordan Peterson's psychological reading of Genesis? I've listened to them and find some parts compelling and some parts where he just misses the mark. What are your thoughts?"
Yeah, it's funny you should ask because I'm reading through his 12 Principles to Live By, which I did not.
12 Rules for Life or
12 Rules for Life? Yeah, no, it's the first one. It's the first one, yeah. And I was not aware how much of that book is biblical interpretation. Actually, it's his psychological interpretation. First thing I would say about it is he's working in a very revered tradition of philosophical reinterpretation of the Bible. And this is a hoary tradition that goes back all the way to Philo Judaeus, Philo of Alexandria, the Jewish philosopher who was a contemporary of St. Paul. And he does a philosophical reinterpretation of the scriptures of Israel, using the tools of Greek philosophy. And I see Jordan Peterson standing in that kind of tradition. He's got 1 foot in philosophy and 1 foot in the psychotherapeutic tradition, especially Carl Jung and figures like that. And so I think there's a tradition of doing this kind of thing in the scriptures. And I think there's some validity to it. As I listen to Jordan Peterson, half the time he seems to be doing evolutionary psychological superstition, I would call it, just kind of like pseudoscience.
Jordan Peterson is a fucking psychologist. Doesn't have anything to do with that shit. What?
Human evolution. I think a lot of the points he's making could be just based on biology. You don't have to make up a
Jordan Peterson ain't even talking about God.
South of the cave, he's talking about our biology. But the other half of the time, I'm powerfully moved by insights that he sees, and a lot of the things that he sees, like in the creation narrative, the nakedness as vulnerability. I've been saying that for years. Well, you find that in the interpretive tradition. There's a lot of
Die, bitches, die. Get that rage, yup. I'm gonna fucking kill this bitch!
I'm not too aware of that, and the reason for that is I'm not usually out
satisfy
into
Valhalla?
kind of like
Let's take the wheel.
popular Christian media and stuff like that. I'm not aware. Periodically, students will come to me and say, "Well, I heard somebody say this, you know, that the Greek really says that, or the Hebrew really says this," and sometimes it's just like, you know, kind of
There's the one Valhalla Park.
run across information.
Charge it right down. We better speed this up before they grow even more powerful.
Kill him. You fucking faggot. I fucking swear.
What's your left?
Ugh.
would rise victorious, you know, over the forces of darkness, and you'd have, you know, daylight again. Well, him not showing up for 3 days,
Dude!
let themselves because, like, this thing got.
Oh hell no! Oh hell! Oh hell no!
Yeah, and then
Oh hell fucking no! Fuck you! Fuck you!
yeah, exactly. Great, yeah.
Ugh.
And,
My God.
she's the goddess of fertility, and she
Okay, this I'm gonna need you. I'm gonna need you, bro.
frogs in the bedroom, frogs in the streets, you know, it's comical, it's ludicrous. You know, Lassie saga, the Egyptian goddess of fertility. I don't know that you that's, yeah, Nats, you know, that's a little bit more the Egyptian god of resurrection is portrayed as a even
Yup.
things where the specific matter of the plague might not directly point to a specific Egyptian god, you still have the general fact that the Egyptian gods are responsible for Egypt, and they were took out the word alphabet in the face of the god Israel. And that's actually reflected if you look at Exodus 12, it says, place judgments on gods of Egypt.
Oh hell fuck no!
Suggests that there's a theology or a divine combat going on here. That God's not just judging Egyptians, but he's judging Egyptian gods. And so, yeah, there's validity to that interpretation, and it's clear as day that they're doing, you know, a kind of attack on Egyptian theology. Wow, that is fascinating. That really changed. Yeah.
Steve Noyan said, can you discuss the Q document and relationship with the Gospels? In college, I got a minor in Christian religious studies and found this very interesting.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about that. And, you know, the wheelhouse of branch teaching and like the scholars and specifically major works on the Gospels and stuff like that. So I defer to them. You know, often consult with them on these topics. But, you know, the Q document, what is the Q document? The Q document is a hypothetical document that is hypothesized by scholars to explain why there are know,
Woo! Fuck me. I'm getting the fuck out of here after that, dude.
now, unfortunately,
Fuck me.
this theory is
Fuck me, Nas. Get that strength all the way up, bro.
when you go
Get that fucking strength all the way up.
say Mark and Q, and then they draw an invisible lasso around Mark and Q, and
Yeah, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
unwarranted proposition that anything that's not Mark and Q is made up. So you can kind of trust Mark, you can kind of trust Q, but anything that's in Matthew and Luke that's not in Mark and Q is fiction made up by Matthew and Luke. But that's not a necessary proposition. There's no reason that the material that's unique to Matthew
You're on
unique
fire,
to Luke.
Chris.
Why? I'm probably gonna die.
That's kind of it in a nutshell. That's great.
Major upgrade is to the second routines. We used later dates. We got it. Do they have a response to these cards? Yeah, it's not like maintained much like this.
Yeah, you know, you can look at the response that's come to.
I'm not even getting pissed at this point. I just accept it.
Testament. And there's a lot of response. It's rare in New Testament scholarship for scholars to come outright and present the data.
At least you fell to one of the more challenging
why
opponents.
there is
No
the
shame
claim that